the description of that suits the situation of gender inclusion, including disability and youth,
including
is that
disability.
of misery and trauma,
Mm.
traumatizing and miserable. Why do I say so? Because we keep going back and forth. Rather than be going consistently or static, you find a situation, you hit the bottom.
Mm. Welcome to Akweya TV, the station that talks about history, art, culture, and how they relate to development. On our show today, we have a very special guest, and I know that by the time she's unveiled, it's going to be a great mystery for you. She's an economist, a teacher, a mass media practitioner, public policy analyst, a human rights advocate, social and political advocate for the full integration of the deprived and vulnerable, and recently inducted as the first Idoma woman to be inducted into the Nigerian Women Hall of Fame alongside 6 other women just some few weeks ago. And I'm talking about no any other person but Ene Ede. You are welcome, ma.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, I didn't know I was the one you were introducing. Thank you so much for giving me those faders. Thank you so much.
All right. And Ene Ede is also the publisher and editor of the Women Today newspaper. And as the first female publisher of the Women Focus magazine, that was why she was inducted into the Women's Hall of Fame, Nigerian Women Hall of Fame. So, but you know, like I was saying before now, anytime I see you, there are a lot of things to talk about as far as you are concerned. But whenever I see you, the first thing that struck me is how you were able to overcome all the trauma and all the emotions of being married off at the age of 9. Although we have said that, somebody have said that what you have been through creates in you the passion for what you are meant to heal in your generation. Is that the reason for your passion for women?
Thank you so much.
Okay.
I was married up before my 9th birthday. That is, I was 8 years plus.
Wow.
And I was married up to a teacher. And like people will say, is that it's just God. You know, there's a way God just creates a path and He makes circumstances to make you to follow that path. And the path will not always be so smooth.
Yeah.
Growing up, my friends were males. If you look at pictures we took where I sit during when we take photographs or when we are playing during assembly, I hardly stay with females. I like to stay with males.
You were still in primary school at the time?
Primary school, yes. I was in school, doing very well in Kano. We just came home on holiday during Christmas. And they say, oh, this one, she doesn't elect. I don't know how the arrangement was made before I knew. They say she's this person's wife. You know, as a teenager, it's more like what do you know about marriage in the first instance? How do you contribute to a marriage institution?
9 is not even up to 18.
It's not up to 18, yes, exactly, not even 18.
That is a child.
A child.
Yeah.
Sorry, thank you so much for a child. So how do you want to consummate the marriage? How do you want to contribute to the marriage? And how do you want the marriage to work? It's just an abuse. So it wasn't really marriage, it was just abuse of human rights. That was what happened.
Okay.
So for me, when it happened, one group of people, destiny working to make sure that I fulfill destiny, many people were brought to my path, and I was able to go to secondary school. I was able to go to College of Education. I was able to also make a university degree and other qualifications.
That means you ran away from the marriage?
Yes, I ran. I had to run away from the marriage because at some point, I was taken to a far place, a distant place. They call it Efion. Very close. It has border Benue State. It was still Benue State. Yes, Benue State then.
Yeah.
It borders Ebonyi State, the present day Ebonyi State.
Yeah.
I was taken there. He had a motorcycle. You know, anybody who had a motorcycle was a very privileged person. As a teacher. So then it was teachers or those in the army, particularly because of the war then and the other things that happened. So it was people like that that were rated high. It's not like now that it's politicians that are reigning. It was teachers and the people in the army particularly.
Yeah, that were reigning.
Yeah, they were in vogue. So if you are married to a teacher or somebody, even if it's a recruit, you are privileged. You are said to be privileged. So when I was taking there, someone just carried the motorcycle. Nobody. I had always been guarded.
Okay.
I had people monitoring me. They had a boy in the house that was monitoring me, or he would take me to go and stay in the school, and I'll be there until school closes. I'll come
follow
home.
you
Then
back to the house.
Then I'll come home. I wasn't teaching. I wasn't an observer. I wasn't a supervisor. I wasn't from the ministry or in the and that process. He didn't see it as an abuse. He saw it as just protecting his own property that he has acquired, so that I don't run away. But as God will have, even the boy they brought to be watching over me, I don't know what happened. I can't remember everything. But I don't even know how. I never learned how to ride machine. He has always carried me in the motorcycle. I just carried the motorcycle and ran away.
Oh.
And it's just God, like I'll say, because the market days, it's only on market days you can get lorry. Some of these were not even what do you call it? Not pickup.
Yeah,
so it
big
was
lorry.
Market day. So I targeted when there will be he will not be able to run after me, and left. When I got to my mother, I said, this can't happen. You know you can't be at home. Your father will come, and there's certain culture. He can just use his manhood and say, I'm not marrying you again. When he puts it on, then the marriage is dissolved. And my mother will not be able to go to her marital home on account that you don't want your own daughter to marry.
Yeah.
While others are wishing for their daughter to be married to a teacher.
Yeah.
So it was problematic. I now went to drop the motorcycle in his family house and ran away from the village. So that was how my uncle got me to secondary school. From secondary school, I went to do College of Education.
Wow.
There were now advocates. It's not like now that they say you go to a shelter, you go to civil society advocates, and they will assist you. But in the process of that period, I know that my classmates, all of them are still alive. My primary school, not only few have died. Many of them were supporting me, particularly Kevin and Angel. He kept insisting that this girl will help this community in future.
Yeah.
They fought. I remember him stoning the teacher and the teacher punishing him because he said, no, you can't marry this girl. So, and I'm glad that my first holiday was so celebrated when I went home during Christmas.
Wow.
The first was I was forcefully married to somebody once I just came home. But the second thing memorable was that they celebrated with tango. Tango is one solid stuff that is made to dissolve in water. It just makes a sound like that with some foam. Then you drink with cabin biscuit. It's not like now the young people celebrate with all manner of sophisticated things.
Okay.
You know, we just celebrated with tango, cabin biscuit, and that was how life continued. And God gave me this privilege to champion cause like this.
Okay, that is a whole lot of story on that, and I think you will need to write a book.
Yeah, a lot of people have been encouraging me that I must write, I must tell this story.
Okay.
Yes.
But is that the reason for your passion for women?
You know, I just realized that increasingly, when I look back, there are a lot of my classmates that were married off. They are just there.
Okay.
But I'm so privileged. So how do you give back? And I remember what my classmates kept saying consistently. This girl will help us in the future. This girl will be useful to this community in future. So that kept ringing in my mind. So for you to be useful, what do you do? Is it to go as a civil servant? Because most of our people, either they're in politics or they're in civil service. So when opportunity came, the first person who spotted me was the First Minister of Women Affairs, Ambassador Judith at her Mama Ambassador Judith. She
Yeah.
turned 90 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
This Friday will make it 3 weeks, 2 weeks plus. And she said, "Oh, you are doing rare advocacy. Go and study law."
Okay.
I was just talking, arguing, and all that. Because after reading economics and reading journal, I had to go and read journalism.
Yeah.
I first of all read business education,
Okay.
bias in accounting. Then I read economics in the university.
Okay.
So I had to now go and read journalism. And she said, "Go and read law." In addition, there was part-time law University of Abuja and other universities around. But because I was involved in advocacy, I didn't bother. So I realized that I was going deeper and deeper in advocacy. And when I published the newspaper, the way it was during the military regime, the way the wives of the military administrators responded, they would bring supplement with money attached.
Okay.
Bring their material. I know that I was running helter-skelter to go and get information. If they package information or you interview them. So it was quite engaging.
Okay.
Not that there was profit. It was a social just a social service that was being rendered. Because the first mistake I made, I had 9 staff.
Okay.
You can't have 9 staff for a paper that is just coming up.
Yeah.
But they were so patient, all the staff, both men and women, production, editor, rewrite editor, everything, we had it. And I'm grateful that men like Bishop Kuka, Hassan Kuka,
Yeah.
who was Father Hassan Kuka then, Bishop Uso, Bishop Elections Makosi.
Okay.
So I had great support from different strata of society.
Okay.
Than Agbese.
Were you based in Makurdi?
No. We are based here in
Abuja.
Abuja.
Okay.
We are based in Abuja, the National Center for Women Development.
Okay.
So I received tremendous support. Victor Noveron is one person who was consistent. Said, "This paper go and acquire land in Gwagwalada. It will grow large." But there were mistakes we made, and we are remedying those mistakes. We are leveraging opportunities and structures of engagement to be able to do better. We even coordinated women in publishing. So other women who came up, and I became the secretary. Then one of our senior colleagues, Constance Mejo, made her the coordinator. She was publishing Amazona magazine. But because of lack of support, from especially men will always say, "Go and fund your convention." And women don't have the resources to do that. They don't have even the opportunities to do that. The whole Women in Publishing WIP, WIP, just everything just diminished like that. All the papers, none of us was publishing for a long time.
Wow. So now you're talking about the newspaper.
Yes.
Today's Women newspaper.
The Woman Today newspaper.
The Woman Today newspaper. What do you publish? What are the main publications?
Yeah, it's amazing. What we focus on, is based on the Beijing Platform for Action.
Okay.
The Beijing Declaration of 1995. It's 28 years now.
Wow.
No, 27 years. In 2 years, 27, 28 years.
Okay.
In 2 years' time, that is 2025, it will be 30 years. And one of the declarations there was that women and media should be given priority. Women in every facet of public life.
Okay.
So the first set of women who were given publicity to, because it was during military regime, was all the structures, the women groups and the men who were available to be interviewed. I remember interviewing Chief of Defense Staff, the General Akweya, General William, Air Vice Marshal, Air Marshal Akweya, Air Marshal William, the Chief of the Air Staff, Remember interviewing him. I interviewed the Chief of Naval Staff. Holding a lot of them. I remember one of the Chief of Naval Staff, after interviewing him, and I said, "When are we going to have a female Chief of Naval Staff?" And he said, "These are the limitations." I was schooled. I was able to understand the limitations. But when President Jonathan came, he was able to open the door for women to be recruited into the combatant
part of
to
the
become
military.
combatants.
Yeah.
Because you have to go through a whole lot of process. Go to NDA, you know the short service. There's also the ones that
The
go
full
through
NDA.
the NDA.
Yeah.
So that one is coming up now, and they are doing well. So you see, over time, we're supporting their wives, the structures like NAFOA, the wives of the Air Force officers,
Okay.
NAOA,
Okay.
the POA, and the
Okay.
rest of them, the wives of the police, all of them. That was what we concentrated on.
Okay.
Then talking about women too in rural areas. I remember one of the stories we did.
That means you were a promoter also of a better life for rural women.
Very much so.
Okay.
Because we got something from what do you call them? Daily Trust.
Okay.
Daily Trust. I remember when Ona was an editor with Daily Ona. I remember Ona Idu.
Okay.
I remember he was doing a lot on rural people, and I was so interested in it because I believe in good community life. Having grown up partially in the city and the rural community, I know the difference.
Okay.
I see the gaps. So I've always been yearning for the people within the communities to do well.
Okay.
Like when people say, "Oh, she's attacking the president. She's never satisfied whatever they do." But those who know that we have a root, we have a history.
Okay.
We are not just criticizing; we are providing solution as well.
Okay.
So we do a lot of. We cover professional women. We give everybody, and men. We had a page, men who are supporting women.
Okay.
Even before they started doing he for she and all that. I remember Haja Halima in Kano, she became commissioner. Her husband didn't go commissioner women affairs for the first instance. It was commissioner twice in 2 regimes. The husband supported her. We brought him to Abuja and we gave him an award.
Wow.
As a man supporting his wife.
Yeah.
He didn't feel envious. He didn't go to marry another wife as a punishment for her. But he kept supporting her. Even though she had advantage more than him, the education as well as the political power, which is very good. But, so we kept promoting men, and we kept getting men to take columns in the paper.
Okay.
So we did a lot in terms of, we do coverage of activities, but we do a lot of investigation.
It's okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll talk more about that. We'll go for a short break. I'll be right back.
Pardon? What? Recap? Why recap? Well, because you are not all in the same space, and just maybe one participant in your virtual meeting could experience technical failure or difficulty, especially if you are in a country like ours, Nigeria. Anyway, so a recap helps everyone stay abreast with all the issues discussed and keeps you accountable to every participant. Recap also helps you when following up on any action items that were assigned during the meeting. While doing recaps, it's very important that you give room for participants to make inputs, especially whether they agree or do not agree with certain resolutions that were arrived at. You may have captured something different. This gives them room to present their own ideas or opinions or perspectives on what they thought they had agreed upon. Stay tuned to us for more comms tips and tricks, and don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms @ISOMedia, and do share this content with all your friends that are organizing virtual meetings.
Welcome back to the show. We're talking with Ene Ede, an economist, a teacher, a mass media practitioner, and you've heard a lot from her about her childhood, about some things she went through, and the impact that she's making today. Before we went to that short break, we were talking about the major focus of the Today's Women newspaper. But right now, recently you were inducted into the Nigerian Women Hall of Fame as the first Idoma woman to enter the hall, and the second from Benue State.
Unfortunately. I say unfortunately because this is 2023.
You see?
And we are having only 2 women.
Were you expecting it?
Not at all, because the politics around it. that's why I'm excited that I made commitment to our state that we want to be able to support them to have a good women hall of fame, and I think going forward too, they may want to even review it. Because if you say hall of fame, it will give some kind of semblance to a celebrity thing.
Yeah.
But if you say maybe women hall of contributors or something that has to do with national development,
Hall of honor.
Hall of honor. So okay, what are you being honored for? So we'll look at it if that can be done, because I know the National Council on Women Affairs and Social Development has met and said it should be established at state level, but we still don't have it. Speaker Ichen being the first female speaker in the whole of Nigeria, first female speaker of State Assembly.
Yeah.
And you see, there's something too about that. Thank God that
Margaret.
Look at, yes, Margaret Ichen. You know one thing too. It was during Governor Akume's regime.
Yeah.
Senator Akume, SGF. And you so there's also something about it too. I wrote a letter to him recently thanking him.
Wow.
Because there is no governor, no individual that has given the kind of financial support and material support we received from him as a governor then. I remember when he was inaugurated in 1999, I went to Benue to cover it, and we put the story on the front page, and somebody told me that, why are you putting this kind of story? Why are you making it a state paper? I said, it's because of the number of women that were appointed there as commissioners.
During his regime.
4 years in the first instance, and the quality of the women. And the placement, imagine one was in agriculture, I can't remember the placement was good, and they said they were going to export vegetables, fruits, and I know the kind of vegetables, fruits, grains we have, you don't have it anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
It's not because I'm from Benue. So you see, there's a connection. He is a mega male champion. He facilitated Ichem becoming a speaker.
Yeah.
He also supported my paper.
Yeah.
So it's not only politics, in entrepreneurship, in social, in media. So it's important for us to know that he has chunk of the credit for what we have seen. Because if I was not giving consistent supplement and support to publish the content, it would have been difficult to be able to sustain the paper. So he did very well with us. You ask whether I'm happy. I can't be happy. 2023, long after this place was established, only 2 women from Benue. It's too small, and there are many others who have done extremely well. So it's for us to go back home, establish our own a hall of honor, or whatever we want to call it, as for uniformity in the so that there is no disparity. Let it be uniform.
Okay.
So I believe in uniformity. I believe
so that at least some women could be called into that hall from the state level.
There was something I wrote too. Somebody said, "What were you writing?" I love writing. I've always loved writing.
Okay.
What I wrote there, I said, well, looking at all of us here, majority of us inducted into that hall of fame are opportunistic achievers. That is, some because they were giving government position, they were giving money, they were giving a political appointment, they were giving certain privilege, opportunity, or they use somebody's social capital or else to get to where they were able to get to. There are people who created opportunities. A woman may have started, like I have started the first, when I was in the university, because I had to go to school, I had challenge again. And, you know, that is one thing men threaten women for, because they have the money. Oh, you are going to school. If you are not satisfied with the NCE, no money for you. I dared it and I went to school. And that comes with implication. So part of what I had to do,
especially at that time,
I had to be selling second-hand clothes. I met one of my student parents. He gave me a job. I was working full-time, studying economics full-time, selling second-hand clothes, and doing some other businesses. And I must acknowledge I receive a lot of support from the Catholic Church.
Okay.
You
Wow.
know, so these are the challenges. There are a lot of women who started for this, trained all their children,
Yeah.
did so much. But why wouldn't they be inducted into the Hall of Fame? So they are bound within Nigeria. That's why a lot of us believe that the selection process should be reviewed.
Okay.
So that you don't have too many opportunistic achievers. Some are some are there by virtue of being wife to somebody. Yes, people are wife to people, and they have not been able to take advantage of those positions.
Yeah.
But if it's reviewed, the quality will be better.
Okay.
So this is what some of us are saying.
Okay.
We are not happy. We want to see more women.
Okay.
Deserving women.
I think they will come up.
Yeah.
I think they will come up.
I want to see a young woman coming there. Look at in Sierra Leone. Here we have the youngest minister, a ministerial nominee, 36 years. In other countries, you even have 20-something, less than 25 years as minister, holding major cabinet and delivering
as mayor in some
as mayor
in some civilized.
So why
countries.
can't we do that? Commit it so they let them study. They might make mistakes, but help them. So I want to be able to see the mayor of FCT as a young woman.
Wow.
Yes, I want to see it. A woman with disability, or a woman that does not have disability, or a young man who has understanding of equity, of fairness, of justice, that can network everybody to be able to provide ease of livelihood or life to everybody.
It's okay. So now, there's something I want to know from you.
Okay.
Because at the time you went to school, a lot of women were not going to school.
At all.
So who, in your rising up, who was your role model? Who were you looking up to? Who mentored you?
You know, you see, there's this woman, oh my God. And unfortunately, she didn't live long to reap the benefits of the seed, the investment she made in the lives of people. One, there was this woman, who called her Madam Veronica Igomu. She worked for Isha Kurabu in Kano.
Okay.
There is hardly anybody that went to Kano who will not go to her house before going to their final destination. She worked so hard as the accountant of the organization. I remember her going to London. So she inspired so many of us.
Wow.
I remember when I flew for the first time in my life, my in-law bought a ticket for me. It was £1.
Which year was that?
1977.
Okay. Wow.
It was £1. And I flew from Yola to Kano. She said, wow. No, did I say 77? Yes, 77. Because that was when
that would have been Nigerian Airways.
Certainly, yes. So I remember when she said, hey, please, you know, he said, no, I don't want you to start flying now. My in-law just said he's a retired corporal. He retired from the army, what they call corporal, 2-row.
Yeah.
And I went on holiday, and he now said, this my in-law will be great in future. I don't want her to go by road. So excitedly, as a youth, a student, then students were not being liability to anybody. You just visit people, they give you money, you're happy. Not like now that people are sending SOS, bring me this, give me this. Now, this one, we just got there, and he now said, okay, in a way of appreciating me as his in-law, he's married to my elder sister.
Okay.
He now gave me money, and I flew to Kano. And I was going to my elder sister, Sister Veronica Igomu. They call her sister.
Yeah.
But she was a very churchious woman, very godly woman.
Okay.
She went to primary 7 because my father too insisted on marrying her off. My father was the problem.
Okay.
So when we begin to talk about women, a lot of people think that we are carrying war out against men. I saw a lot of things that my father did that were not correct. I asked questions, and he felt that I was asking questions that border on equality and equity. and certain culture that I felt that was oppressive. And he just looked at me as somebody, maybe too, that was part of the reason why they asked me to marry early. But God helped me to struggle out of it. So my elder sister, the Irish reverend sister then, wanted my sister to go and study in Ireland.
Wow.
I want you to imagine what would have happened in those days.
Yeah.
My father refused that she should go and marry. My sister married. So at that level, if you look at the picture, the family, yes, the husband was an auditor, a very responsible person and other, earning good salary. But she would have been much more bigger. Some of the problems we have in Nigeria wouldn't have had it.
Yeah.
So she inspired me a lot. And there's another, I don't know why it is Veronica, and there's Veronica Ofiku.
Okay.
I was married to her elder brother.
Okay.
Because I was married for 7 years, I had no child.
Okay.
And she was so much, because she went to university, she went to do college of education, I went to university.
Okay.
And I kept seeing her. I see what she does. There wasn't much talking, but there was more of observation and there was more of instruction and guidance. So these three women, Veronica Igomo, Madam Veronica Igomo, of blessed memory, she's late now. My elder sister, Mrs. Veronica Otobo. Then the other one living now is Auntie, I call her sister. My in-law, we are related to, I call her sister Vero Ofiku. These are women that inspired me a lot. I don't know why I didn't see any man as an inspiration. Even though I've been close to men, but a lot of them too have supported me. But looking at these women, I saw that without education, Madam Veronica wouldn't have been in Kano supporting all of us. She was a mega mother and a mentor. I remember when I was to go to America, she said, hey, your head is too hot, oh, don't go to America. America is not a good place. Stay and finish your school here. Immediately after, I was to go to America. Imagine if I went. So there's also a process of the cultures too, they are also victims of the cultural indoctrination. I would have gone far.
It's okay. Before we round up, let's just quickly, I want to get your opinion. What is your rating of women inclusion in governance, both at the state and national level? How do you rate it?
Let me describe it before I rate it. The description of that suits the situation of gender inclusion, including disability, is that of misery and trauma. Traumatizing and miserable. Why do I say so? Because we keep going back and forth. Rather than be going consistently or static, you find a situation, you hit the bottom. If you look at all the policy documents, President Tinubu promised women minimum 35%. We just learned the national gender policy 2 weeks ago. We just concluded with the dissemination for the North Central. The APC policy document, APC Manifesto Constitution, gives opportunity for them to have minimum 35%. And nobody in the world has made commitment like us. Maputo Protocol, there is our own African equivalent of the Charter of Demand of Women's Rights, which is Charter of Women's Rights, the CEDAW, Convention on Elimination of All Forms of Violence Against Women. 20 years now. It's going to be 20 years. We are not doing well in terms of implementation. So when you look at it in totality, the ministerial appointment, initially, people were very happy. Okay, 28, 7 women. They brought it to Dango like this for us to just keep us in suspense, only to bring 19 and 2 women. So now we have 9. And out of that, people complain that it's over bloated. 47 as against 43. The previous one. So the 4 extra. You couldn't bring. I don't know. My expectation was that we should be able to get 40% women, 20% persons with disabilities, then 20% youth. Then we balance it with other categories of men. But we have failed to achieve that. It means there's something very seriously we need to do about restructuring.
Okay.
Not the restructuring people are shouting about.
Yeah, but on gender.
Gender and inclusion and looking at it across the whole country. President Tinubu failed to bring even a woman from Lagos State, which is an abomination. It has never happened before. Kogi, that managed to bring the first female minister of state, the immediate past one.
Yeah.
Kogi couldn't bring. Even Benue, my state, yes, father, was also couldn't get with the SGF that has been gender sensitive. So even within the government house in Makodi, we are not seeing much of women. So all over the state that has done extremely well is Rivers and Ekiti. Ekiti, they have the highest number of women in the House of Assembly. Benue managed to have 2 out of 32. Is it fair? It's not fair, Nani. So in totality, we are doing extremely bad. Not just bad, we are doing extremely bad. Using every standard, whether you want to use efficiency, and there's a court case, 35% minimum opportunity, whether palliative, whether the money president want to share on the everything he said he will be doing in his statement. Women are supposed to have minimum of 35% because the case has been won against federal government. So they are doing all this in violation of the court case and the deficit that is on their neck. So looking at everything, how do you want to summarize? You want to summarize that they say they don't need us as women. They don't need person with disabilities. Grace Jerry, Jonah Pitt, people, Jake Epele, all of them have been talking, they've been shouting. So the shouting has come to naught. And if you look at the thing too, is why will you bring 9 former governors for what now? It doesn't make sense. No. So where does that keep the women? And if you also look at it that you are not seeing other people. PDP did very well with bringing different categories of people, technocrats and all that. So I expect that all of them, all the governors should look for a key person to make their civil society person and bring a structure for gender apart from governor's wife, apart from commissioner of women affairs, to have that structure, to have that balance. For now, nothing is working for the marginalized group. They are further marginalized.
It's okay. That's taken. So finally, before we go, when the economy becomes harsh, women bear the brunt of the whole thing.
Yes.
One last word for them. What do you have to say to them in this high cost of living, season of high cost of living?
Yeah, my advice for them is that people like us are not mad. We are not crazy. There's this song they sing in church that they say, I don't be say are they mad or now God that they praise. So not that we are mad, we that are talking. All they need to do is to come out and make demand consistently. Prayer alone will not solve this thing. Cry, tears will not solve it. Let them come out and use statistics to make more demand so that changes can be made in a short while. Women are going through the greatest agony of their lives. We cannot say certain things for the sake of patriotism, so that we don't insult the sensibilities of some people. You will know that the burden they are carrying is too much. And what will leverage, or what can reduce it when they give them appointment, they give them recognition, they also give them commensurate leverage, not palliative. Give them something that will make them to be able to carry this burden.
But the president has assured that things will get better.
It's an issue of assurance, and the structure that we put in place doesn't show that it will deliver on the assurances it's given. The policies and programs will be carried out by somebody now. It's still the governors, all the people who have been there. And if you look at it, it's essentially APC. So is it that those of us who are not, when I say those of us, all other people faith-based, the business people, the cultural groups, the civil society, technocrats, they are not part of the country. We should be able to advise now. We have the skills, we have the knowledge. We are in a crossroad, and what can take us out of there is a collective bargaining. And we don't have it. It's not an APC country now. It's only an APC regime. Look at what happens in other clients. They bring unity government. So we need to have more inspired hope.
It's okay. Thank you so much for coming on this show. Thank you so much. And that's where we wrap up this show for today. Been talking with Ene Ede, the first woman to be inducted into the Nigerian Women Hall of Fame from Idoma land, and the second from Benue State. She's a media practitioner and has made a lot of impact in the women's world, especially as a publisher, the first publisher of a women-focused magazine. My name is Idajo Aja. Please do share this story and follow us on our Facebook page and all of our social media platforms. Thanks for watching.